Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something really, really vital. Something that touches on, well, a lot of the fascinating areas you've been exploring. Specifically, how we use language, English grammar, really to talk about our feelings, to navigate, the often pretty complex landscape of mental well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just about learning new words, though that's part of it, of course. It's more about uncovering the subtle power of grammar, how structures can actually transform how you connect and express yourself.
Exactly. It goes way beyond just vocabulary lists.
Right. Think of English here as this sophisticated tool for connection, for understanding across cultures. It's much more than just translating word for word. And, as you've probably found, trying to express those nuanced emotions, those really subtle feelings in another language, that can feel like a whole extra challenge, can't it? It adds this layer of complexity.
It really does. It's already a sensitive area.
So our mission today, really tailored for you, drawing on all that great information you provided, is to help equip you with the precision, the confidence maybe, to navigate these conversations about mental health, whether you're sharing your own experiences or maybe supporting someone else, or even just trying to better understand the linguistic side of emotional expression. We're going to unpack it and get ready for some, I think, surprising insights into pretty common grammatical structures and their subtle but actually quite profound power. Things even native speakers might not consciously think about.
That's precisely right. The ability to communicate effectively, especially in sensitive areas like mental health, it's just crucial. We saw that again and again in the materials you shared. And like you said, this isn't merely about memorizing rules. That's foundational, sure, but it only scratches the surface. It's really about building genuine empathy, clarity, making sure your voice is heard, understood, especially when the topic feels personal, vulnerable. Understanding not just what the words mean, but how grammar shapes the message. The nuance, the intensity, the real intent behind your words, that's what allows for truly meaningful communication.
Yeah, that how is everything.
It really is.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. Let's start with the foundations, the building blocks, the essential vocabulary.
Good place to start.
Yeah, you need that solid base, right? And in this case, it's those key words, those expressions you'll hear and use again and again when talking about mental health and well-being. We're going to look at some vital categories here, highlighting the nuances, just like in some of those detailed glossaries you found. So first up, feelings and sensations. The raw material of our inner world. We often use the word anxious. Okay, what does that mean? Feeling worried, uneasy, maybe apprehensive about something uncertain, right? Like a future event.
Like before a test or something?
Exactly. You might say, I'm feeling anxious about my upcoming presentation.
Yeah.
It's common, often temporary, but then there's overwhelmed. That feeling when you just have too much to deal with, like a wave crashing over you, you can't escape it.
Yeah, it's not just busy, it's swamped. Emotionally, mentally swamped, to the point where you almost feel you can't function.
Right, incapacitated, a really intense state.
And feeling overwhelmed, that often connects directly to being stressed out, doesn't it? Which is a very common, almost casual way we talk about feeling pressure. Work, life, whatever.
Totally. I'm so stressed out this week.
But if that stressed out feeling goes on too long, if it's chronic, it can lead to being burnt out.
Yes.
That's different.
Very different. It's a more severe, prolonged state, often from chronic stress, maybe work, maybe caregiving. You're just completely exhausted.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, like you have absolutely nothing left to give.
A deep depletion, not just tired. Exactly. Not just tired, it's emptiness. And then we have simpler terms too, like feeling down or feeling low. Just expressing sadness, melancholy maybe. Softer ways to talk about a dip in mood doesn't necessarily mean clinical depression.
Yeah, just not feeling great.
Right, or feeling drained, like your energy is just gone, battery flat.
Yeah.
Utterly depleted.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, sometimes people describe feeling numb, which is a lack of feeling, right? An emotional emptiness, detachment. It can be really unsettling, almost like a defense mechanism when emotions get too intense.
Absolutely. That numbness is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then there's worried, classic,
Yeah.
right? Everyone understands worried. That general unease or concern, slightly different, more physical maybe, is being on edge.
Ooh.
It's not just mental worry. It's like this heightened state of nervous irritability, like you're coiled, ready to snap, easily agitated, hypervigilant.
Tense.
Yeah, tense is a good word for it. And someone feeling restless. They can't relax, can't stay still, often linked to anxiety or just this inability to settle. maybe even boredom manifesting physically.
Right. Pacing, fidgeting.
Exactly. And finally, vulnerable. Being open to emotional, maybe even physical harm. We often use it when sharing something really personal, something risky. But as some communication texts suggest, expressing vulnerability, paradoxically, that can be a sign of strength. It opens pathways to deeper connection.
Absolutely.
Understanding these nuances, these subtle differences, it just helps you say precisely what you're feeling. Much clearer self-expression.
And moving beyond just those feeling words, it's also really important to know some of the more, let's say, clinical terms and concepts you'll hear, especially in professional context or literature.
Right, the more formal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we talked about feeling anxious, but then there's anxiety, often with a capital A as a clinical term for a disorder. That distinction is absolutely crucial. We'll dig into the grammar of it later.
Okay.
But you can feel anxious before presentation, normal emotion. Having anxiety usually refers to a diagnosed anxiety disorder, something that significantly impacts daily life.
Big difference.
Huge. Same with depression. That's a clinical mood disorder. Different from just feeling down or sad for a bit. These terms are the language of diagnosis, of treatment.
That example of anxiety, the feeling versus anxiety, the disorder, really hits home why precision matters so much here. It's the difference between, a temporary state and a chronic condition. What other clinical terms should people be aware of?
Well, there's panic attack. That's a sudden, intense fear triggering severe physical reactions, heart pounding, can't breathe, dizzy even when there's no real danger.
Scary stuff.
Very. And the umbrella term mental health itself, our emotional, psychological, social well-being, it covers the whole spectrum from thriving to really struggling. When seeking help, you'll hear therapy or counseling, professional treatment, talking to a trained professional, and those professionals are therapists or counselors.
Got it. Therapy, therapist, counseling, counselor. Makes sense.
And unfortunately, a major challenge widely discussed in sociology and cultural studies is stigma.
Yeah. Stigma.
It's that mark of disgrace, that negative association people might have with mental health conditions. It can stop people from seeking help, from even talking about it because they fear judgment, discrimination.
It's a huge barrier.
It is. And finally, diagnosis. That's the official identification of an illness based on symptoms. So these terms form a kind of shared vocabulary for more informed, sometimes life-changing conversations.
Absolutely. But it's not all focused on problems or diagnoses, is it?
No.
There's a whole positive side to this vocabulary, too, focused on positive actions and coping mechanisms.
Yeah, so important.
Self-care is a massive one these days. Basically, any activity you do deliberately to look after your mental, emotional, physical health. Could be anything from taking a bath to setting boundaries.
Actively looking after yourself.
Yeah. Then coping mechanisms. These are the strategies people use to deal with stressful situations, or the verb to cope with, something meaning to handle a challenge effectively.
And building on that, mindfulness is huge. Being present, fully aware of the moment, often through meditation or just paying attention intentionally.
Right, like focusing on your breath.
Exactly, which leads to breathing exercises. Simple, but incredibly powerful for calming the nervous system, often recommended for anxiety.
I find those genuinely helpful sometimes.
They can be. Many people also find journaling helpful, writing down thoughts, feelings, a way to process things like self-reflection, or even a form of therapy.
Get it out of your head and onto the page.
Precisely. Grounding techniques are practical strategies too. They help someone who's feeling overwhelmed, maybe having a flashback, connect with the present moment, focusing on senses of what can you see, hear, touch right now.
That sounds really practical.
It is. And maybe most importantly, actively to reach out. That means asking for help, connecting with someone for support. It takes courage, but signals connection.
That phrase, to reach out. Yeah, that signifies taking initiative, doesn't it, for your own well-being.
Yeah.
And another crucial one, especially now, is to set boundaries. Like you said, building a fence around your energy, your time.
Protecting your space?
Yeah, establishing limits on what you will or won't accept, protecting your emotional mental space from getting depleted. Super important.
Absolutely vital.
And then more generally, phrases like to unwind or to de-stress, just meaning relax, alleviate tension.
Simple but necessary.
Totally. These words, they empower us, right? To take proactive steps towards feeling better for ourselves and when we're supporting others. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, I think. We've got the vocabulary building blocks. Now, how does English grammar help us express these complex feelings with accuracy?
Yes. This is key.
Because it's not just the words, right? It's how they're structured. Subtle grammatical choices can completely change the meaning, the impact.
Absolutely. It's all in the details.
Okay, subsection 2.1, state of being. I feel versus I have. This seems simple, but it carries so much weight. The most common way we describe a feeling is I am, or I feel, plus an adjective like I feel really anxious today, or I'm a bit overwhelmed by my workload.
Right.
This points to a current state, maybe temporary, it's direct, personal, focused on your present experience.
And that's where we hit that crucial, subtle, but really significant difference, the one that can cause miscommunication, especially in healthcare. When you say, I feel anxious, you're describing a momentary feeling, a situational thing, an adjective modifying your current state.
Like before that presentation we mentioned.
Exactly. I feel anxious before this big presentation, or I felt anxious waiting for those results. And a normal human response, a transient emotion. However, when someone says, I have anxiety, they are generally implying something more, usually a clinical diagnosis. They're referring to anxiety as a disorder, a persistent, often debilitating condition, not just a fleeting feeling. It's about a chronic pattern of excessive worry, fear that interferes with daily life.
Wow, okay. That is a massive distinction. It's not just semantics, I'm feeling worried, versus I have a diagnosed anxiety disorder. Huge difference. So what happens if someone, maybe learning English, gets this wrong? Say they use I have anxiety when they just mean they feel anxious right now. Could that cause problems?
Oh, absolutely. The consequences can be quite profound. If you say I have anxiety when you just mean I feel anxious about one specific thing, you might accidentally imply a clinical condition you don't have.
Right.
This could lead to misunderstandings, maybe friends or family overreact with concern, or it could even lead down a path of unnecessary medical checks.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
A doctor hearing I have anxiety might start thinking about diagnostic criteria, whereas I feel anxious prompts questions about the situation causing the feeling.
So the precision helps ensure you communicate exactly what you mean. You get the right kind of response, the right understanding.
Precisely. It avoids misinterpretation. Think about it. You wouldn't say, I have hunger, would you? You say, I feel hungry. It's that kind of nuance, but with potentially higher stakes when talking about mental health.
Okay, that's super clear. Now let's shift focus slightly. Subsection 2.2. Telling your story, simple past versus present perfect. When we talk about mental health, we often look back, right? Past experiences, struggles, ongoing journeys. It's not always about right now.
Definitely. Narrative is important.
So how do we accurately recount these experiences? How do we make sure the listener gets the timeline right, understands the lasting impact, or if something is over? That seems like another grammatical challenge.
It is, and this is where the difference between the simple past and the present perfect tenses becomes incredibly powerful. It allows for real depth in storytelling. Let's start with the simple past. We use this for specific, completed events that happened at a definite time in the past.
Okay, finished actions.
Finished actions, specific time. Example, I had a panic attack yesterday. It happened yesterday, it's finished. Or, I started therapy last month. Started last month, a specific point in the past. Action completed in the past in terms of starting. It defines an event that's separate from right now.
Like a snapshot. Done. Over.
Exactly. Now, contrast that with the present perfect. We use this tense for a few key things. Life experiences where the exact time isn't stated or important, or actions that started in the past and continue into the present, or have a direct link or relevance to the present.
Okay, so it connects past and present somehow.
Precisely. For instance, if you say, I've felt this way before, you're not saying when, just that it's an experience you've had and maybe it's relevant now. It implies continuity or connection to the present.
Right, it's part of your history that might still be active.
Or another common example, often using the continuous form. She's been struggling with anxiety for a few years. That present perfect continuous clearly indicates an ongoing struggle. Started in the past, continues right up to now.
Okay, wow. That difference is huge. So if I say, I had anxiety for years, simple past, that kind of implies it's over now, resolved.
Generally, yes. That would be the implication. It's a closed chapter.
But if I say, I've had anxiety for years, present perfect, that suggests it's still part of my life, ongoing, even if I'm managing it.
Exactly. That's the nuance. It signals an ongoing experience or condition that still has relevance to the present.
That subtle shift in tense totally changes how someone understands your current situation.
It really does. Mastering this difference lets you tell your story with much more depth. You can clearly show if something is resolved or ongoing, a one-time event versus a recurring pattern or a continuing struggle.
It avoids ambiguity.
Completely. Think about a common learner mistake. Always using simple past for anything before now. If someone says, I struggled with depression for 5 years, the listener likely assumes that struggle is over. But if they say, I've struggled with depression for 5 years, it clearly conveys the struggle began 5 years ago and continues in some form into the present. It's invaluable for being truly understood in these contexts.
It's like the difference between I fell down yesterday, specific past event, and I've fallen down many times, experience over time, possibly indicating an ongoing issue.
Perfect analogy. That distinction is vital for accurate self-representation.
Okay, moving from expressing ourselves to supporting others. Subsection 2.3. Giving gentle advice using should, could, and might.
Yeah.
This is so important. When someone's struggling, the last thing they usually want is to be told what to do, right? Lectured, commanded.
Definitely not helpful. Can even be counterproductive.
So how do we offer suggestions kindly? Make sure our advice feels like support, not an order. This is where modal verbs are brilliant. They help soften things.
Absolutely. This is a fantastic area because the specific modal verb you choose can dramatically change how your advice lands. It affects whether the person feels heard and supported or maybe judged or even controlled. Let's start with should. If you say, maybe you should talk to someone about this, it's more direct advice, but still generally polite in English.
Okay, should.
Yeah.
It implies you think it's a good idea for them.
Yes, it implies a recommendation. You believe this is a beneficial action. It's like saying, based on what you've told me, this seems like the sensible or right thing to do. It carries a certain weight, a sense of advisability.
Okay, so it's a nudge. Maybe a gentle one, but still a nudge towards what's seen as right. How does someone know if that nudge is too strong? Does it depend on the person or culture?
That's a great question, touching on pragmatics. While should is often fine, its perceived weight can vary. In more direct cultures, maybe it's perfectly normal. But in contexts where indirectness is valued, or if the person is feeling particularly vulnerable or defensive, should can feel prescriptive, like you're imposing a solution. It can sometimes undermine their sense of autonomy if used too forcefully or without enough empathy.
Got it. So be mindful of the context and the person.
Definitely. Now, if you want to be softer, offer possibilities rather than directions. You use could.
Okay, could.
Example, you could try some breathing exercises. Sometimes they help me. See, could suggests a possibility, an option. You're not saying it's the best or only path.
It feels more like brainstorming. Like, here's one idea out of potentially many.
Exactly. It opens a door without pushing them through it. It respects their agency, lets them choose. This is an idea available to you.
Much less pressure. I like that.
And if you want to be really gentle, almost tentative, you use might.
Might?
Yeah.
Even softer.
The softest of the three. Taking a short walk might help you clear your head. It implies a very gentle suggestion, a slight possibility. It's less recommending, more just. Putting an idea out there.
Like, here's a thought, maybe helpful, maybe not. Up to you.
Precisely. It carries almost no pressure. It communicates, this is just an option some people find useful. Perhaps it's relevant for you, perhaps not. This is great when someone is feeling extremely fragile or resistant to advice.
Yeah, nobody likes being told what to do when they're already feeling down, right?
Exactly. So these subtle differences in modals, should, could, might, they're crucial for fostering a supportive conversation. They show respect for the other person's autonomy, their emotional state. It's the difference between commanding and collaborating.
Right, okay. So we've got the vocabulary, we've got the grammar nuances. Now let's look at putting it all together. Practical application, section 3. How does this work in real conversations?
Yeah, let's ground it in reality.
Knowing the rules is one thing. Using them effectively, empathetically, in the moment. That's the goal. So, subsection 3.1, expressing your own feelings. How can you articulate your state clearly? A really common and precise way is, lately I've been feeling really overwhelmed. Notice lately, and I've been feeling present perfect continuous again. Ongoing state, started recently, continuing now, shows persistence.
Good example. Or you could say, I'm struggling a bit with my anxiety right now. Direct, present-focused, acknowledges a current battle without necessarily claiming a full diagnosis.
Yeah, struggling a bit sounds honest, but not overly dramatic, maybe.
And a very honest, perhaps understated way is, to be honest, I'm not doing so great. It signals you're having a tough time, invites the other person to ask more if they want, but doesn't force you to overshare immediately.
A gentle opening. I like that one. Oh, and this one is so common now, especially with younger people. My social battery feels really drained today,
Ah, yes, the social battery. Great idiom.
isn't it? It refers to that mental, emotional energy for social interaction. When it's drained, you feel exhausted by people, need alone time to recharge. Mine runs out pretty fast sometimes.
Captures that feeling perfectly. Social fatigue.
And one more, a proactive one. I think I need to take a mental health day. Taking a day off work or school specifically to focus on well-being, rest, recharge.
Becoming much more accepted, thankfully.
These phrases really empower you, don't they, to articulate your state clearly, concisely, so others can understand and respond appropriately.
Okay, now flipping it. Subsection 3.2. Offering support to a friend. What do you say when someone shares their struggles? Your response matters hugely.
Yeah.
Simple, empathetic phrases build connection, like, that sounds really tough. I'm here for you if you want to talk. It validates their experience. That sounds tough, and offers open-ended support. I'm here. No pressure, just an invitation.
Yeah, validating is so key. Another really powerful one is, thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate you trusting me.
Oh, that's up.
It acknowledges their vulnerability, the courage it took, strengthens the bond, encourages more honesty later, maybe.
Absolutely. And the classic offer of practical help. Is there anything I can do to help? Direct, shows willingness to act. Listening, helping with a task, just being there.
Sometimes just asking is enough, even if they say no.
True. And sometimes the best help is giving space. So you can say, take all the time you need, there's no pressure, respects their process, removes any sense of urgency.
Patience is a form of support.
It really is. And perhaps one of the most validating things you can say, truly crucial, your feelings are valid. It affirms their experience, lets them know what they're feeling is okay, understandable, even if you don't fully get it yourself. It's powerful acceptance. These phrases create that safe, supportive space.
And just as important as supporting others is protecting ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Subsection 3.3, setting boundaries. Key for self-care, resilience.
Essential. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. So sometimes you just don't have the capacity for a heavy conversation, a polite but firm way. I appreciate you asking, but I don't have the emotional energy to talk about that right now. Honest, values them, but protects you.
Clear and respectful. Or, if you need time to think, I need some space to process things. Can we talk later? Expresses your need for solitude, but keeps the door open for future connection. You're not just shutting them down permanently.
Good distinction. And in our always-on world, I'm trying to protect my peace, so I'm going to log off social media for a while.
Very relevant.
Totally common, totally understood now. Prioritizing mental peace over constant digital engagement. These phrases help you take control of your emotional energy. Clearly communicate your limits.
Okay, let's bring this all together. Subsection 3.4, real-world dialogue and cultural context. Let's walk through a conversation between two friends, Alex and Sam. Pay attention to the vocabulary, grammar, strategies we've discussed.
Hey, Sam, you seem a bit quiet today. Is everything okay?
Okay, so Alex starts with a gentle observation. You seem a bit quiet. And an open question, is everything okay? Non-judgmental, inviting.
Exactly. Sam replies, hey, Alex. To be honest, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed this week. I've been having trouble sleeping, and it's making everything feel heavier.
There's that I'm feeling for the current state, overwhelmed, and I've been having trouble sleeping, present, perfect, continuous, showing its ongoing, connecting past to present impact.
Precisely. Alex responds with empathy. I'm so sorry to hear that, Sam. That sounds really tough to manage alone. Is there anything specific that's been on your mind or contributing to feeling so overwhelmed?
Validating again, that sounds tough. And another open invitation to share more. Good, active listening.
Sam feels safe enough to continue. It's just a lot of pressure from work right now. I feel like I'm constantly on edge, like I'm waiting for something bad to happen. To top it off, I actually had a panic attack last week, and it really scared me.
Okay, I feel like I'm constantly on edge, continuous state. Then I had a panic attack last week. Simple past for that specific, completed, impactful event. Perfect use of tenses there to differentiate.
Exactly. Now, Alex's response is key. Wow, Sam, thank you for trusting me enough to tell me all that. That's genuinely a lot to handle on your own. Given everything, have you ever thought about talking to a professional, like a therapist or a counselor?
Okay, validating the trust, acknowledging the difficulty, then the gentle suggestion. Using present perfect, have you ever thought about? Inquires about past consideration, softer than, you should talk to someone.
Right. It's framed as a question, implies could or might. Sam replies, touching on stigma.
I've thought about it, yes, quite a bit actually, but I'm not sure where to start. And honestly, there's still a bit of a stigma around seeking therapy, you know? It feels like admitting weakness sometimes.
Present perfect again. I've thought about it, linking past thought to present uncertainty, and naming the barrier. Stigma. Alex handles this beautifully. I completely get that, Sam. The stigma is real, and it's a huge hurdle for many. But taking care of your mental health is just as important as your physical health, truly. It's a sign of strength, not weakness, to acknowledge what you're going through.
Directly challenging the stigma, reframing vulnerability as strength. That's powerful.
Very. Alex continues. Maybe you can just look up some options online. There's absolutely no pressure to book an appointment right away, just exploring what's out there.
And there's the super gentle could suggestion. Maybe you could just look.
Low pressure, manageable first step, respecting Sam's autonomy.
And Sam accepts. You're right, Alex. That's actually a really good idea. Just looking it up sounds manageable. Thanks, Alex. I genuinely appreciate you listening without judgment. It actually helps just to talk about it.
Success. Supportive, non-judgmental listening and gentle suggestions made a difference. That dialogue really shows how these pieces work together.
It does, and it leads nicely into the broader cultural context. Because, as your research showed, things are changing. Yeah, that was clear. While stigma definitely still exists, the conversation around mental health in many English-speaking countries, maybe especially with younger generations, it's just so much more open now, less taboo.
Absolutely. Terms like therapy, anxiety, self-care, setting boundaries, they're not niche anymore. They're part of everyday vocabulary mainstream discussion.
Right, so using this language connects you to that ongoing cultural conversation.
Exactly. By understanding and using these words and phrases correctly, with the precision we've talked about, you're not just learning English grammar points. You're actively participating in a relevant, evolving global dialogue.
And that shift in perspective, vulnerability as strength, not weakness, that's a big one.
It's huge. That's often an aha moment.
Eh.
Showing vulnerability, being open about struggles, is increasingly seen as authentic, courageous. Why does it matter? Because this language fosters connection, empathy. It helps build a more understanding society. You're learning to communicate in a way that builds deeper human connections.
Yeah. Okay, section 4. Fine-tuning pronunciation and practice. Because using this language confidently means saying it clearly, too, right? Mispronunciation can hinder understanding or just make you feel less sure of yourself.
Definitely. Let's polish a few key words that sometimes trip learners up. First, anxiety.
Ah, yes, the X.
Exactly. It's pronounced ang-z-i-u-t. That X makes a G's sound like an eggs. Ang-z-i-u-t, not anxiety or anxiety. Feel a little D-I-U-T.
Anxiety, got it.
Okay, next, overwhelmed.
The tricky bit here is often the H. It's very soft, almost silent. Overwhelm. Not overwhelm. Focus on the W sound right after V. Overwhelm.
Overwhelmed, right. Okay, vulnerable, lots of syllables.
Break it down. vulnerable.
VOL,
Like pull, like bubble, slowly. Vulnerable, faster, vulnerable.
okay, therapist, that TH sound.
Crucial English sound. Tongue gently between your teeth. Soft puff of air, no voice. The heat-schruppist, not therapist, not therapist. The schruppist.
The H takes practice. The schruppist.
Okay.
And struggle. Pronounced strugel. Shorty comes sound like in cup or fun. Strugel, not strugel. Strugel.
Strugel.
Got it. Excellent. Okay, now it's your turn to practice. Repetition makes it sick. Let's try a scenario. Imagine a friend tells you, I'm feeling a bit down. How would you respond? Use one of the supportive phrases we learned. Remember gentle language. Pause if you need to, but try saying it out loud. Empathically, naturally. Go on.
Yeah, actually say it. Don't just think it. Speaking helps lock it in. And for some writing practice, try this journaling prompt. Write a few sentences in English about how you feel today. Use that structure. Today, I feel because I think I will to unwind. It connects the language to your experience, helps with self-reflection too.
And just take a moment to reflect personally. What phrase or word in English brings you a sense of calm or comfort? Maybe something we talked about, maybe something else entirely. Think about it. What resonates with you?
And remember, learning to talk about this stuff, especially in another language, it's brave. It's an act of courage, vulnerability. Every new word, every phrase you master, that's a win. It's about connection, self-expression, well-being. So be kind to yourself as you practice. Celebrate the small steps. And that pretty much wraps up our exploration today into the grammar of feelings. We looked at how essential vocabulary sets the stage,
Mm.
how subtle grammar choices like I feel versus I have, or simple past versus present perfect can totally change your message.
Usual differences.
And how those gentle modal verbs should, could, might let us offer support with real empathy, real respect. Mastering these nuances, it just allows for deeper connection, deeper understanding, empowers you in these important conversations.
And as you continue learning, exploring, consider this final thought. How might expressing your authentic self with this newfound precision, even in a different language, actually start to reshape your own reality and how others perceive you? It's not just about words or grammar rules, is it? It's about empowerment, confidence, the ability to connect, human to human, whatever the language.
And that's our topic for today. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to explore the other videos on our channel to continue your English practice.